What we're going to be talking about today is the kingrinder, a 4-month review, and it made better espresso than the espresso machine that I had for many years. I think it was the Mazzer Mini. It worked fine, no problems with it, and I believe this is the absolute worst case scenario when dealing with the K6. It's hard to actually grind coffee when it's extremely light. Trust who you are. But also think about how that is going to change as you go down this rabbit hole of coffee. We live right now. And what we're going to be talking about today is the kingrinder, a 4-month review. I think I've had it long enough to give you my honest opinions about the usage, the do's, the likes about it, and all that good stuff. So I have 2 of them, actually. This one right here is kingrinder K2. Okay, it's a little bit smaller. And then the other one I have is kingrinder K6. This is the bigger one. And as you can see, there's a difference of size. I think they're the same. Probably slightly wider on the K6, but not by much. But the height is about an inch and a half, something like that. And yeah, so these are grinders that I got mainly because I did have some grinders before. And the grinders before, I think one of my cousins recommended me this Walmart's grinder. And it was about 15, 20 bucks, and it sucked. It sucked really bad. So I don't really need grinders. I really don't. I am a person who loves grinders. I believe grinders are the real game changers in all of this. I actually just recently bought another grinder. That's a discussion for another day. And yeah, so I mainly got these grinders for you all to see if it's truly really worth it to go ahead and get these grinders. The K2 was $60, $70 at the time that I bought it in September of 2024. And then the K6 was $100, and I bought it off Amazon Business on my business account, because this is for business. Business and pleasure, right? So, but I think normally the K6 is about $130. So why do I have 2? Well, I got the K2 first, and I liked it. Everything was working fine. And then I tried espresso with it, and it made better espresso than the espresso machine that I had for many years. I think it was the Mazzer Mini. And it worked fine, no problems with it. But what I realized is that it was very muddy in the cup. And when it did that to me, and I can get better tasting coffee, I could really start tasting clarity in espresso. And I didn't think that was really possible. So that's when I went ahead and thought that it was a good idea to just go ahead and get the updated version. Since you are hopefully enjoying the video, if you like, subscribe. K6 as my dedicated espresso. I do want to do an experiment real quick, because now we're going to be talking about, I don't know why I kind of did it this way, but whatever. This is light roast. And I'm just going to grab a handful. I'm doing an experiment right now. And I believe this is the absolute worst case scenario when dealing with the K6. Of course, people say that you can go ahead and use a drill. I've tried a drill. Sometimes I think I'm spinning it too fast, whatnot. But so I just result in hand grinding, manual grinding the espresso beans. Whole bean reading let you know that this is, the ground coffee is a 98. So this is almost as high as it can be for light roast. And for any coffee, as you roast the coffee more, it's easier to actually grind the coffee. So I don't know how many beans I actually put in here, but just watch what I do. So I like to hold it from the base right here, and then just grind. It's not easy. You have to hold your left hand and turn Yeah. Come on. There we go. We know when you finish when it gets easier. So you saw how long that took. And then we're gonna go ahead and look at it. And yeah, it does. You can't see that. You can't see that. But it's pretty fine. So it does a good job of actually grinding coffee. And we're gonna talk about the drawbacks or the negatives. It's hard to actually grind coffee when it's extremely light. And medium roast is a lot easier, but it's still a challenge. Even for me, I'm a big guy. I work out every day, so this is not easy to grind coffee, especially on a light roasted level. Another con is that this dial right here is confusing for the K6. The K2 is actually a lot better. I'll tell you why. It's easy to just be up top and mess around with your settings. I normally don't really change the settings. I probably go 1 or 2 clicks depending on the coffee, depending on how it's coming out on my espresso machine. So that's how I kind of judge it, and it works out really relatively well for the applications that I'm doing it on. So yeah, so I think you could probably get away with it being a little bit longer, but it's going to be ridiculous because then now you're going like this to actually grind the coffee. So that's one of the biggest drawbacks. The other drawback is that this cup right here, it's a decent size. There's no real problems with the cup, especially if you're doing like 14, 15, even 20 grams of coffee inside of it. It'll hold that. But when you actually try to get the coffee out, it's a lot of static. Probably should put some water up top to see if that helps out with releasing the coffee so it won't be as staticky to get the coffee actually out of the canister. And then I mentioned this, sees it's dial. I mean to change the settings. And yeah, other than that, it's a good tool, and the reason why it actually works for me, ironically speaking, for espresso is because I don't do espresso a lot. I probably do espresso shots probably 2 times a month, which is nothing. That's not much at all. And me struggling doing 2 to 3 shots here and there, total about 6 shots each month. That's not that bad. I can deal with that. I will still want to get a dedicated espresso grinder, but for now, $100, it works really well. Okay, the other one, I love this one for pour overs. It does exactly what I need it to, and kind of similar to the K6, the K2, I really don't change the grind size. I picked one. It's relatively fine, but it works really well. And all I would really do with my coffees and my recipes is I'll do a test, taste it, see how it tastes to me, and then I will just adjust the actual brew recipe to get the extraction and flavors that I want out of the coffee. I don't know why I do that, but this one I found a really good sweet spot with this particular grind setting. But this one I like a lot just because even if I want to change the grind setting, it's really easy. And it actually works really well. You just put this thing on the top to help hold it. And then you can turn the dial left and right and all that. To talk about different clicks here and there, but after a while, you'll start to get used to actually using this actual machine. And for both of these grinders, they're really good weight to them, which is really nice. So it helps you feel like you're doing something or you bought something of quality. The design of it, this little rubber piece, that's fine. No complaints there. It feels fine in the hands, especially when you're trying to grind the coffee. And I've been having a really good experience for it. The only thing that I would like to hopefully not go through, there's one of the commenters on one of my videos that I did about the kingrinder talk about how theirs broke on them and they just went ahead and went to the manual, the actual manual not the manual, but a regular coffee maker, espresso, dedicated espresso grinder that's like 250 bucks. You can get wacky and crazy with it and spend a lot more money. But that's a pretty good deal if you think about it. 250 for a dedicated espresso grinder that you don't actually have to manually grind coffee. And that's huge. It can be huge because I would think people would want to use these for camping just because it's a hand grinder, you're in the field and all that stuff. But the whole camping thing, it is what it is. That's fine. I don't camp, so. But I think it's less of a big deal when you camp because you can just grind your coffee the day before and just have your coffee and go hiking and do whatever the hell else you want to do. I don't think that's why it's a big deal, but that's just me. I'm kind of crazy and funny that way. So, do I recommend these? I really do. I recommend them if you know what you're doing. If you feel that this is all you want to do. Because I think the K2 works really well. If you want to play around with different grind settings and stuff like that, different brew ratios. Yeah, you can play around with the K6 for pour overs and all that stuff. K2 for pour overs. I mainly use this one for pour overs. But if you were just to get one, just know what you're getting yourself into. Meaning that, are you a pour over type of person? Are you a French press immersion brew type of person? If you are, then go ahead and get the K2. It works just fine. I don't think you're going to get that big of a difference between the burrs and all that stuff and the flavors and clarity and all that. This one, I do recommend this one for espresso, especially if you don't actually do a lot of espresso making like me. If you do it all the time, a couple times a day, a couple times a week, and you do a lot of predominantly light roasts, don't get this. Just get a actual automatic trip. Not automatic trip. Don't get this one. Just get an automatic grinder that's dedicated to espresso, and you should be good. But if you do espresso every day, if you do like a lot of medium to dark roasts, a lot of milk-based drinks, that you just want that depth of like flavor coming from the coffee that you produce with this, it'll be a lot easier to grind. So you should be okay with this. But again, you don't know if and whenever it does break. I don't think there's any type of replacement parts. And it'll suck to use this thing for like a year, pay your $100, $130, and it breaks. This one's $70, it breaks. That's not that bad, but you know, for the most part, all my automatic, non-manual machines, they have never really broken, and they do have replacement parts that you can buy for them too. So those are some of the things that you have to take in consideration when you actually go about buying gear like this, because it has a potential to break. And like I said, I don't know if there's any type of replacement parts. It may be. I think I kind of looked into it, but for the most part, you know, I think you can get things replaced, but do your research. Just figure it out for yourself. But I'm planning to keep these. I'm planning to use these as long as I can, continue to experiment with them. I do have a video that I've been editing for the past couple of weeks about the kingrinder and espresso. So I'm really looking forward to that, sharing that with you. And yeah, these are my two grinders, 4-month review. And I thought that would be kind of a little different to see what you... Hey, dude. You gotta be quiet. That bell is too loud. Okay, sit in the chair. I'll get you some food. Thank you. But yeah, do your research. I hope this is an introduction to your research of understanding these grinders even more so. But again, know who you are. Trust who you are. But also think about how that is going to change as you go down this rabbit hole of coffee, because you may change. But again, you could spend 20, 25 bucks for a bag of beans, paying $70 to $100 for grinders that really makes your coffee better. It's kind of a no-brainer, and you just see where the journey takes you. So that's what I got for you. This is Oki at Everyday Beans signing off. I'll talk to you later. Bye.